Maggie had spent her entire life taking care of others. Growing up in a big family, she was always the one tending to the younger siblings, making sure they were fed, dressed and safe. It felt like she had been born into responsibility, and as the years passed, that burden never really left her. When she had her first baby, a beautiful little girl, Maggie thought she was finally stepping into a new kind of life, one where she could build her own family, give her child the love and stability she never quite had. But fate was cruel. At just 2 months old, her daughter was taken from her. They said it was SIDS, but all Maggie knew was that one day she was holding her baby, and the next she was burying her. The pain was indescribable, but life didn't stop for grief. She went on to have 2 boys with her husband, hoping to mend the hole in her heart. But as the years went on, things fell apart. He left, and she was alone again, raising 2 sons on her own. It was exhausting, mentally, physically, emotionally, but she had no choice. She had to keep going. Time passed and a few relationships came and went, none of them lasting. Then she met Mark. He was different, steady, a man who worked hard and provided. He didn't make big promises, but he was there, and for Maggie that was enough. Together they had a baby girl, and for a while, life finally felt good. The struggles were still there, but with Mark by her side, she wasn't carrying them alone anymore. Then, just as unexpectedly as he had entered her life, he was gone. It was an ordinary day. Mark had gone to work like he always did, pushing through the aches and exhaustion that years of labor had worn into his body. He never complained. He just kept going. Until the day his body couldn't keep up anymore. The heart attack hit fast and without warning. By the time Maggie got the call, it was already too late. She sat in shock, trying to process how someone who had survived years of hard work, stress and sacrifice could just be gone in an instant. He wasn't sick, he wasn't weak. And yet, there she was, standing alone in a funeral home, saying goodbye to the only man who had ever truly been her partner. By then, all the kids were grown, but somehow Maggie never really got to live for herself. Both of her sons still lived with her, including her eldest, whose mental health struggles made everyday life a challenge. Some days he was kind and loving, but others, his anger made the house feel like a battlefield. His outbursts drained her, and yet she couldn't leave him. A mother's love didn't come with an expiration date. Her daughter had moved to the family's vacation home, far enough away to live her own life, but not far enough for Maggie to forget that even if she wanted a break, there was nowhere to go. She loved all her children more than life itself, but there were nights when she sat alone in the quiet house and wondered, was this all her life would ever be? No peace, no rest, just responsibility. She never expected a fairy tale ending. Life had been too cruel for that kind of dreaming, but she had hoped at the very least for a moment to just be, to wake up without the weight of the world on her shoulders, to exist without constantly sacrificing herself for the sake of everyone else. But that wasn't in the cards for her, so she did what she had always done. She pushed through. She woke up each morning, made breakfast, dealt with the bad days, and cherished the good ones. Because despite everything, she was a mother. And a mother's love doesn't break, doesn't quit, doesn't falter, not even when the world has taken everything else away. And she would keep going for them until her dying day.